guys, Tambo here with your Week 4 core report. Our cores have been on fire this season, and our guy Hoop nailed the Week 4 strategy, stacking up the Lions and Seahawks game. Hoop went cheap at quarterback, rostering Geno Smith with the double stack of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. He then went full onslaught for the game by adding Jamal Williams, TJ Hawkinson, and Josh Reynolds from the Detroit side. Hoop topped off his lineup with several one-offs, including Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, and the Eagles D, racking up a score of 252 Draftkings points with a unique lineup that actually took out a 33-man dupe train, shipping the Hoopster $1 million in the Week 4 Millie Maker. Several of the players from Hoop's lineup appeared in his core plays and cash player pool provided to our premium members, who also had some pretty big weeks. MC won over 3K on Draftkings, Raholman hit for over 5K, Nika hit for over 6K, and Chase Addy NC shipped for over $45,000 on FanDuel. And Hoop isn't the only expert to hit big recently. JT Hayes hit for $20,000 in MLB last week. Big T hit once again, profiting over $33,000 on the NFL Week 4 afternoon slate. And our guy Locks had a huge night, shipping for over $213,000 on the Sunday Night Showdown slate. You can watch all of our experts for free by visiting our YouTube channel and subscribing right now. For our premium content, where you can access all of our core plays, playbook, Discord, premium videos, and more, visit runpuresports.com and sign up for a membership today. At RPS, every sport is included for one low price. Sign up for our premium membership today, and let's keep running pure. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. Toe Tag and Tambo, back for another edition. We're bringing it back. It's not Circle Jerk Season 2.0. We've done enough of that, and for good reason. Our man Hoop shipping the Millie amongst all the other big wins, Locks, 200K, just too many to name. You saw the core report coming in. You know what it is. Like we said, join Run Pure Sports, win with us, or watch us win. The new slogan, we're coining it. Big T, JSU, back to join me. You're going to be talking all things Week 4. Breaking down last week. We're going through from a game by game, but not from a DFS perspective, so to speak, as much as what we saw in the game. What can we bring across to this week going into the new week? Do us a favor on the way in, hit that like button. It's going to be a great show. Tony, Big T, the man, bring you in first. I love your yellow hat, by the way. Get it on here live. How you doing, man? What's going on?
Yeah, thanks for the compliment, Tambo. I appreciate that.
It's all about the tone. It's all about the tone, my friend.
It's another fun week to be back. I enjoyed that show. Like we said last week, we weren't just doing that because of the circle jerk, even though that's what it turned out to be. Fun show. I think we got a ton of positive feedback. Trash talk aside, we wanted to do this show and just kind of go through the games, talk about them. Some weeks may take a half hour. Some weeks might take 2 hours. Who knows? But yeah, just come hang out with the people, talk some football, and get a compliment about my hat. It's a good day.
Yeah, it helped me out a ton. By the way, bring in my man JSU. Nice haircut, JSU. I like that cut, buddy.
How come that sounded genuine there? That's
what I mean,
way more genuine.
Thank you, Tambo, for the compliment. I appreciate it. And, honestly, Tambo, when we're on a show with Big T, we all know this thing's going to last at least an hour and a half. Like, I mean, come on. The guy just doesn't shut up when he's talking. He just goes on these rants. And you can't get him to stop. Sometimes I text him. I say, Anthony, are you done? It's my turn to talk now. I mean, give me my time.
Yeah, the key is, and you've caught on to it, but this is what I do. I like tilting him enough. If there's a slate for the day, that like for today, baseball, he's going to have cores up later on Run Pure. We're going to check him out. If we can tilt him enough right now and talk shit to him, he'll get so motivated that he'll put out the best core that just ships the whole slate, and then you tail that shit and go ship it yourself. If you can do that right, that's how you get the money. Get that money like Big T.
I thought you were going to say Tambo. He'll put it up like 2 hours early too, and let people know he's so confident and he's ready. He got his stuff out early.
You don't do that. Richie Smalls, by the way, JSU. That barber is nice with the straight razor. There's a compliment. I like that. I like this too. I want to talk about this right.
Shout out my guy Jason.
What about this?
Oh, there it is. There it is. You shouldn't be wearing a hat when you got a haircut.
Should I take
like
it off?
that.
Is this the no hat show?
No, that's why you got that hat on with that LeBron hairline. You got that LeBron hairline coming in.
Oh, get out of here.
Wow.
Get out of here.
That's hurtful right there.
Yeah, because it's not true.
That's hurtful.
People always say this about me too, but one of these times I am going to just grow it out because all you bastards that go bald and like think I'm going bald with you, I'm not going bald with you. I'm doing it on purpose. One of these times I'm going to grow it out though, just to own all you bald bastards.
There's none of them on this show. So,
did you ever have lots of hair?
Like I don't like long hair, so no.
Yeah.
I mean, my longest was back when the bowl cut was like popular, where it was short around.
That was mine.
Yeah, like that was the longest it ever was. Terrible haircut too, by the way.
The high school basketball pics, you had it grown out just a little bit. It was a little spikier, and you never hit the barbershop back then. You weren't getting that straight razor back then. You were
it was not barber. It was great clips back in the day for sure with the parents.
By the way, great clip. M. Westlake, this is no great clips. Come on. No, that's a real barbershop right there. I mean, my guy Jason hooks it up. Lamb Boys Barbershop. Check him out. He's a man if you're ever in Massachusetts. West
2 hour haircuts if you ever want a 2 hour haircut.
I was just going to say 1.5 hours.
We talk shop. We talk a lot of sports. Good time.
Boys, last weekend, I was on with Hoop before this. We did the PGA show for the week. You guys can check it out. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, do so. We did a PGA show this week. We even previewed the live content for the week at the end. But I was saying to Hoop, we did this show last week amongst everything else. And I got the list right here of notes that I took during the show. So you might want to get your pen and paper out, people. Geno, Lockett, Dallas defense, Hawkinson, Penny, Pierce for Houston. And then the other big call was Suckup as the captain on Sunday Night Football, or play him on Sunday Night Football. He did okay. I'm not saying he crushed. And then JSU, AJB, which for those that didn't know, the man got this was so bad. AJ Brown, we're going to get to that game here shortly anyway, but he had a touchdown that they called back because of a Dallas Goedert hold. This man had a baby during the week. That was another narrative street to AJ Brown's touchdown. He did the whole Lion King. Let him do the whole celebration and then brought the flag in and called the TD back on this man. Had his whole family excited at home to get to see the touchdown celebration. Did not count. So either way, the show was fire. We went through everything. We had it all. I did not build it out, but thankfully Hoop did, and Hoop took down the Millie. JSU, thoughts on last week coming over to this week, just on the show in general, what you like about it, what you want to see going into this week.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fun show. I thought it was a good time. Now, if you're like Tambo and you just apply what we say to DFS, see, it can work out for you maybe a little bit too. But yeah, it was a good overall week. From a betting side, it was a good week too. For me, I didn't have as much of the Lions. I didn't have those full like onslaught game stacks, so I didn't ship any big tournaments, but it was a fine week DFS wise. And, we get back on and pick some more winners today and talk some football.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. And just looking at it, like some of the stuff we see this week going in, we'll get to it later, but Chargers played the Texans this week. As we know, Eckler goes off. We see, the Texans now this week going into week 5, play the Jags. Are we going to finally see a Travis Etienne week where he goes off and takes over sort of the Eckler situation and does that for his squad? We don't know, but we'll talk about it when we get through it. Big T, let's hop right into it, man. Week 4, because the reason I'm starting with you know what game kicked off the week? You were there. You called it. You put it out on Twitter in advance. You said a generational opportunity to get in on this bet and bet the Bengals, bet the spread, the money line, whatever you want. And you got that 27-15, took out the Dolphins at home. You were there, had the family out with you. Let's talk about that game, man. You were there live. What did you see?
Yeah, generational betting. It's always good when you talk up a bet like that. You get people on, and especially these days, tons of people actually tail us. It's not like the early days where maybe 1 or 2 people tell you. Lots of people tell us these days. So it's always nice when you talk up a bet like that and it comes through for the people. Got a bunch of people send me messages saying, thanks for getting me on. Got a little worried as it got closer to kick just because everyone was on the Bengals. I don't like to be fully on that side, but like we talked about on the Prim Factory, ODB kind of fixed my loophole a little bit over the last couple of years where you don't always have to be on the sharp side. You can't always be on the public side either, but it's okay sometimes if you like a game. Glad I stayed on the Bengals. They didn't play great again. I mean, I wouldn't say they were incredible, but they're getting it together. They got players. They're 2-2. They got a huge game this week against Baltimore, Sunday Night Football, another showdown slate. But just as far as the Bengals game, I mean, they look good to me. I've liked them, obviously, last year, this year. They haven't played great, but they still got guys. T. Higgins looks good. Chase, they were playing a coverage to limit him last week, which is fine. If they want to do that, then we'll get it to T. We'll get to some of these other guys. So they just have guys. I mean, you watch like last night, the Rams, not to get too far off track, but they don't have guys. They got Cooper Kupp. They don't have anybody else. It's hard to get offense going when you just don't have dudes. A lot of people will blame Stafford. It's not the case to me. I mean, he hasn't been great, but Skowronek's your number 3 receiver. Freaking Robinson's horrible. He's your number 2. Your running back sucks. Your line's injured. Lots of stuff comes into it. But the Bengals have players. To me, that's all that ultimately matters in the long term. So they look good. The Dolphins, I don't think the Dolphins really will get that hurt from losing Tua. I don't know how long he'll be out, but I'm guessing they'll be safe this time with him. So maybe a couple weeks he'll be out. I don't think Teddy's really that much different of a quarterback, though. So as far as the Dolphins, they look good to me too. I think both of these teams, I'm buying into both of these teams.
Yeah, I like the call out there at the end with the, not just the call out too. Obviously, he's going through some stuff himself. Yeah. Definitely out this week, has his interview today with the investigation, all that stuff. But that aside, like you said, Teddy stepping in, they could still make some stuff happen. I don't have either of them way up here. Tua had the huge game against Baltimore to start sort of whatever week 2, I think it was, but it wasn't, something I was expecting that he's going to have this crazy season. Obviously, having weapons like Waddle and Tyreek helps you out a ton. But just to bring that up, JSU, I want to ask you about something in this game, and then you can take it wherever you want after that. But what's up with Mixon, right? All the talk is on Twitter now. You'll see everybody's bringing it up. He's getting all the usage, but no efficiency. So talk to me about Mixon first, and then wherever you want to go with this game, and then we'll preview what these teams have in store for this week, week 5.
Yeah, honestly, if you're just looking at Mixon from a fantasy perspective, then you're just saying, well, the guy's at least getting the work, right? So you can't argue with the guy who's getting all that volume. And he's just they're not resulting in a lot of big plays and stuff. I get that. Everyone wants the big plays, where are the big runs, all that stuff. To me, when I watch Mixon, I just think that when I watch the Bengals, I just think that they're doing certain things just completely wrong. Like they constantly are running on first down, every first down. If you mix things up, maybe a defense will actually wonder if you're going to run or pass once in a while on first down. It feels to me that way. And then it also feels like the offensive line is still gelling together. Remember, they have 3 or 4 new linemen in there, so they're mixing in new guys. I thought from a pass protection standpoint, they looked pretty good. From a run blocking standpoint, there were a lot of times where Mixon was behind guys and there were just no creases. There was just nowhere to go, or he'd be like trying to move guys out to get to break out of the hole and he would just miss. I think the plays will eventually come. The big plays will come. I don't worry as much about Mixon. I do think the play calling, though, needs to kind of get figured out a little bit better. And then Joe Burrow did a better job last game of getting rid of the ball quick. I thought that was one thing that he struggles to do sometimes. It's not that he can't do it. It's almost just like he doesn't accept that he sometimes has to do it. To help his line out, to not take sacks, to not push his team back. They finally got it through his head for this game, apparently, and he did it. I thought that was one thing that helped him, but there were certain times where I thought he could have let the football go down the field, and he just didn't. I don't know why that was. They were rolling coverage over on Jamar pretty much all game. I don't know if you guys remember, but like there was one time in the game, I think it was in the third quarter, where Jamar was singled. And Burrow recognized it right away before the ball was snapped and literally didn't do anything, just hiked it, took a few steps back, and then lobbed it up. He missed them, but it was like that was the one shot he had. Almost all the other times they were helping his side, which led to T, kind of really getting all the work and abusing Howard on a few plays where he took them to the house one. That was their plan, though, going in. The Dolphins' plan was put their best corner on the, I guess you would say, the second best receiver, and then kind of double Jamar and force the ball away from Jamar. And that they did it, right? That I think their plan worked. It just, they still kind of got hurt by everything that happened. And then when you lose a guy like that too, we don't talk about this, but like all those players going into the locker room, I'm sure they were not thinking about football at all. They were all probably worried about the guy they just saw get hammered and carried off the field for a second time, like wondering if he's going to be okay. So that's another thing that, like, that game specifically, it took a lot out watching it. I'm sure watching their friend get like carried out like that.
How do you see this carry across? T, I'll come to you in a second on the Cincinnati-Baltimore game. I want to talk about that for the look ahead. But with the Miami, stay with them for a second, JSU. They're going in to New York to play the Jets this week. What do you see there for Miami? Big T talked a little bit about Teddy, our guy in the chat. I think it was who mentioned it here? Mike Gray said Teddy is built for this offense. Check down to Waddle, Edmonds, Hill, manage the game sort of thing. Like find it, the easy plays, if you will. Maybe like a little bit of Geno Smith-esque where, the completion percentage can be there because you're just finding the right dudes and they can do what they can with the ball. What do you think about that? What do you think about Miami going in to play the Jets this week?
Tua was built for this offense. Literally, This offense was built perfectly for Tua. And they got a backup who I agree with him. It's also almost built for. They kind of forward thinking with this, like, hey, let's make sure like the guys we have, they fit our system. And I think that's something Miami did a really good job of, going out and getting Tyreek, finding guys that fit what they want to do. And they have it in Teddy. So yeah, I'm not worried at all with Teddy Bridgewater against the Jets. Like, come on. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be fine. It's against the Jets. I'm not worried at all. They'll be okay. He's going to be able to get Tyreek the ball. And we saw him let it go a few times too. He was I'm sure they were building his confidence up because he was letting the ball go to Tyreek down the field. I know they needed it, but I'm just saying, like, that if he's doing that, then they'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. It's when he gets to holding the ball too much and stuff like that, you get in trouble. But yeah, I mean, the Jets, that's another team. Like that game was really interesting. I thought Zach Wilson didn't play that good, but he's got so much talent around him. And Breece Hall is looking really good. That's a guy that as we keep going,
we're going to get to Breece Hall. That's all I want to wait on that because we're going to talk a lot there, right? That game we're spending some time. Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett, 13 for 13, by the way. Problem was 3 of them were interceptions, but all completions for him. Big T, want to go to you so we can keep it moving, but I do want to talk about this Bengals spot going into Baltimore, division game. Baltimore coming off. It's how we kind of tie the show all together, mixing and matching here. But when we get to Baltimore later, we're going to talk about another big letdown, right? We talked about Miami playing Baltimore earlier, giving up that 21-point lead, 20-3, lose 23-20 to Josh Allen and the Bills. Talk to me about the Cincy and Baltimore game, Sunday Night Football, a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm just glad that I'm the one that holds the show up for talking a long time because that was a long breakdown of game number 1 here, Tambo. So I just wanted to put that out there that I'm glad I'm responsible for that.
Job.
I had to get as much airtime as possible in the beginning because I know I'm going to lose it as we go. So
I just wanted to put that out there before getting into this game. But yeah, I love Cincy versus Baltimore. The Bengals have always played Baltimore tough. Even when the Bengals kind of sucked and Baltimore was good, they still played them tough. What number we got here? Baltimore's -3. The total is 48. I love the Bengals this week. They're putting it together. I think the matchup's perfect. I just have always liked how Cincinnati matches up with Lamar. I know that he's had a few big games against them, but I just like the matchups. And what does the Bengals do good? Throw the ball. Baltimore can't stop the pass. I really like the spot a lot for the Bengals, and I'm happy it's a showdown game because people are going to want to play Lamar, and that's fine. I totally get it. But I love the Bengals side, so it's going to be a good spot for me. I think the Bengals win. I think are both these teams 2-2 now? They got to be, right?
2-2,
so, yeah. It's a huge game in the division on the road. I think Cincinnati, after starting out 0-2, they get this W and really get moving because Cleveland, we watched them struggle this week, which I assume they would. We'll get into that game. Pittsburgh is awful, like we already knew. This is a huge game in the division, especially if they can win it on the road. So I love Cincy this week.
All right, let's go to this next one. London game. Again, we go both you guys and me and everything are all games that would take forever. Yeah. So keep it moving the way we are. I like this flow. Vikings at the Saints, Big T, in London, went down to the wire, the crazy double doink at the end. They had a chance to tie it up and force it to go even longer, but the Vikings did end up getting the job done, 28-25. Thoughts on that game?
Yeah, my Super Bowl team versus Johnny's Super Bowl team. My team whooped his ass. My team's 3-1. His is 1-3.
You call that an ass whooping? Come on.
All you got to do is win by one.
I give you credit whenever you tell me something like, hey, your player didn't go off. He got 15. That's not going off. Don't victory lap. Well, that's like you victory lapping like a 9. That's like you victory lapping Najee Harris.
No, because one of our teams is 3-1. Tambo's the neutral party. Tambo. So if we both have a team 4 weeks in, my Super Bowl team's 3-1. His is 1-3. Who gets the victory here?
You guys almost lost to the Red Rifle.
I'm gonna step in and say
this is another terrible take Johnny has. Hold on, before he was like bragging. That's what the spread was. Like, what you were acting like it was a miracle that the Red Rocket was.
My point though is that you're victory lapping a game that was literally just supremely equal at the very end, and you're like,
we're closers. We get to the finish line, baby.
Let's go. Wait, neutral party stepping in. The host is stepping in. Big T, I'm not only trying to still fire you up for this later core today, but you moved the goalpost. You said my team whooped your ass. You didn't say my team is better than you this season so far.
Thank you, Tambo.
Insert Vin Diesel. Winning is winning. Yes, doesn't matter by an inch or a mile, but they did not whip their ass.
I take the L. They lost. They
failed field goal. They are whipping their ass on that schedule right now.
I made a bet. It covered. I whooped his ass if my team covered. That's that simple.
Any other takeaways from this game for you, Big T?
It was nice. I'll say one thing, just all jokes aside. It was nice to see Jefferson do something. I mean, he was terrible the week before. He was terrible in the Philly game. He was terrible in the first half of this game, honestly. People were tweeting like, I miss Justin Jefferson, blah, blah, blah. 10 for $147. I don't think he scored. Did he score? Yeah, he scored. He rushed it in. He had a rushing one. I mean, big game from him. Kirk Cousins looks horrific to me. I don't know. I was making jokes about Minnesota, but they were just jokes. They don't look very good to me.
Can they beat
NFC
Chicago?
Is terrible though. So like you just
Chicago this week because they're at home against the Bears. Can they beat them? 7-point favorite at home, Minnesota versus the Bears.
I mean, you would think. I mean, I've been saying this for a couple weeks now, but it looks like a get right spot for the Vikings. They're not losing to the Bears. I'll say that. No way they're losing. And it looks like a teaser game, maybe 7.5 spread a few places. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, I mean, the Saints, I think they're just terrible. So not much to say on that side.
Yeah, I'll get to you in a sec, JSU. If you guys are just joining us, over 100 something watching right now, do us a favor, hit that like button. Let's keep this show moving. JSU, go to you. Thoughts on this game. And then the look ahead for you. The Saints are at home this week against Millie Maker winner, Geno Smith and the Seahawks. So talk to me about this game. If you have any thoughts on the London game, any more thoughts on what we've mentioned. If not, let's talk about this look ahead with Seahawks in New Orleans.
No, London game was, I mean, it was a good game actually to watch. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It was a solid game to watch. Teams I don't think are very good, either of them. And it came down to the wire. It was a good game though. Looking forward to the Seahawks game, I guess. I don't know. We're seeing Geno throw the ball all over the place, which was interesting, especially coming into the year. Is he that good? I don't know. It's probably going to be a spot where I honestly think it's going to be more of an ugly game, but I do like targeting the Seahawks defense specifically. So I don't know. We might have to find somebody to do it with, whether it's, I don't know if Olave, I know he got hurt like twice in that game. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know how bad he actually got hurt or whatever, but if he's in, maybe attack him there, something like that. It's just Saints aren't a good fantasy team right now. They're not a team where we're going to be wanting to load up. They're just not that way. They need like the ugly games. That's the games that like the Saints have good chances to win normally are like the ugly games. That's why I was even surprised that they had a shot in that game when, there started to be a little scoring back and forth. I was kind of surprised they were even hanging in, but I mean, it's going to be interesting to who wins. I'll say New Orleans probably wins, but I don't think I can back them at 5.5. Like I don't think I'm going to touch the game personally.
Big T, any quick thoughts on that one? Seahawks going in to play the Saints?
Yeah, I like New Orleans. It's the first time all year I like New Orleans. I haven't been on them at single game. Seattle's coming off a good performance, but versus a soft team, New Orleans is a lot of things, but they're not soft. They're at least tough. I think they'll handle Seattle pretty easy in this game. By easy, I mean like 20-6 or something. Not a ton of points still, though.
Pro segue. Speaking of Seattle, next game. Seattle played Detroit. We know about this game. We know what it did for Hoop. We know everybody in DFS that played it had a big week. If you just overstack this spot, 48-45, Seahawks over the Lions. Crazy game. Talk to me about this one, Big T. Any thoughts, things that stuck out for you? A lot of injuries, obviously, going into the game for the Lions, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where you're not going to take a ton from it just because of how many guys were out.
Yeah.
I guess more from the Seattle side we could look at just because they had their normal team. And it's pretty much what I expect. Like, if they play bad teams, they're going to be in play. The week before versus Atlanta, this week versus Detroit, they're going to be in play in good spots. But then, like, next week versus New Orleans, they won't be in play at all for me. I'm not going to play them against good defenses. I'll play them, though, in these spots. It was a perfect spot. You can play Geno, who looks really good against bad teams. He's going to hit these receivers are good. Lockett and DK. Penny's good. They got good pieces on offense. They're just not a good football team overall. So, I don't know. I didn't take a ton from the game outside of my comment I've made on all the shows. Atlanta at home, Detroit at home. Play those guys, and then don't fall for it when they go on the road. So a lot of people are excited about Detroit, right? All good matchups this year. They've been good. All of a sudden this week they go to New England. I've already had people kind of write me like, is this the same spot as Detroit? Not even remotely close. New England's great game planning. They're at home. Who knows what the weather will be this time of year in New England? Probably not terrible, but who knows? It's not a dome. They're going to handle Detroit the same way Seattle is going to get handled by New Orleans. Give me the Patriots. Give me New Orleans. I'm going to totally fade Detroit and Seattle this week. So it'll flip-flop into segues.
Bailey's
by the way, Tambo,
baby.
before we move on, I just want to say, I just noticed that Saints-Seahawks totals 46. Give me the under. Give me the under. I said I don't want to touch the line. I'm betting the under. That's where I'm going in this game. Tony likes the Saints. If you like the Saints, though, you should definitely like the under too. I think it's more of a sloppy game. So yeah, give me the under. Let's roll. 46.
I like it. Yeah, that's a good call out.
I will say one thing too. I don't know if he's going to play, and we're not doing DFS as much with this, but I've made fun of Kamara all year too. But finally, a Kamara spot if he's in there versus Seattle. I'll throw that out there.
I'll keep saying this all year. I said it week one. I want running backs against Seattle all year. You want running backs against Detroit all year. Just like pencil that in when you're looking at fantasy. Like, you want running backs against those teams all year. I think even Denver is going to be a team that you're going to want running back, because smart coaches, you're not going to want to throw against that team. You're going to want to run the football against that team because their secondary is legit. But I think they're another team that people are going to start to target the running backs more and more against too.
Yeah. Smart coaches, sometimes hard to come by in the NFL, but they're there. They're out there somewhere at some point. JSU, if nothing else to add on the Seahawks-Lions game or anything to do with that, we already talked about the Seahawks playing the Saints, the Lions playing New England. Chime in if you have anything. If not, you can take your stand back here and go off on Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett, Brees Hall, all these guys you want to talk about.
I'm so excited we get to talk about Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Jets beat the Steelers 24-20. Go ahead.
We'll make sure Tony gets his say on the Pittsburgh side, but
I'm more excited for the Print Factory talk about it. I'm coming for you, ODB out there.
So save some of it, but you can give a little taste. I would just say one thing. I think the biggest things to take away were the rookies in that game, period, right? Brees Hall looking like he is fully about to take over that running back job for the Jets. It might have came to at the right time where like they were kind of easing him in with Joe Flacco because they knew Joe Flacco going forward wasn't going to be the quarterback. And then Zach Wilson gets in. All of a sudden, you start to see him, taking way more of the lion's share of the carries and it snaps in the backfield and all that stuff. So that's just something to monitor. I think he's going to be really interesting for fantasy. He looks pretty good too, honestly. So I do like him. And the other rookie on the other side, George Pickens, not Kenny Pickens, George Pickens. I thought he's another guy, man. He looks, he already is the number 2 guy there. He's already moved past Claypool. Claypool is done. Dust, just put him out to pasture.
We definitely agree on this.
Just let him go. Maybe trade him or release him. But let George Pickens be the number. It already looks like it is, though. They were throwing up. His target share went up. All the stats, everything is going to look good for him. And I think Kenny Pickett and him, I will say one thing, though, about Kenny Pickett. You are going to want the tight end with that man because he peppers the tight end. So just mark that down. Freiermuth's going to be another guy for Pittsburgh. For fantasy, we're going to like the volume he's going to start to see, I think, with Kenny Pickett as a quarterback.
Yeah, and the Steelers are going into Buffalo this week. So did you have anything to add on there? Because that's just the look-ahead spot for them.
That's going to be a tough spot, I think, for the Steelers because the Steelers are actually really, really bad. And Buffalo, depending on who they get back defensively, that'll play a little bit of a part in it too, maybe. But either way, they'll be playing from a good game script from a passing standpoint, right? From a volume standpoint. For someone like Pat Freiermuth or Pickens, because they'll be playing from behind. I personally think.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, Claypool was the guy that made the mistake. The first ever throw for Kenny Pickett in the NFL is a interception. It was Claypool that made the error and sort of let that ball get up. So in the end, the jokes write themselves with a last name like that, throwing picks in the NFL. But Big T, go ahead, man. You wanted to talk about this spot. Jets at Steelers. For the look ahead, we already talked about Jets at Dolphins. Steelers, I just mentioned, are in Buffalo, but talk about the game at hand and then anything you want to add for the look ahead spots.
Yeah, I mean, after week 1, I said I'd feel way worse about being a Pittsburgh fan than a Cincinnati fan, even though Pittsburgh beat Cincinnati. And it looks like a pretty good take streaming forward. They haven't won since then, and I honestly think they're one of the worst teams in football, and it just comes down to the line. They just can't block anybody. And if you can't block anyone in this league, you're not going to win many games, I promise you. Going against Buffalo is tough sledding. Let me pull up the number. 14.
2-point favorite, 2 touchdown favorites.
Yeah, and it's probably not enough is the funny part. Buffalo will probably cover that number. It is a big number, though, so I never get super excited to lay 2 touchdowns. I mean, they could be up 17 in the 4th and Pittsburgh throw a touchdown and backdoor you. So never going to love a 2-touchdown favorite, but it really shows you just how bad a shape Pittsburgh's in. I mean, you don't ever see Pittsburgh a 2-touchdown dog. But a really bad spot for them. Total's got to be somewhat high, right? Yeah, 48. 47.5, 48. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think we could see points, though. Buffalo is going to score 30 plus. So if you give them 35, 38, I mean, you only need 2 touchdowns from Pittsburgh. I think they could score 2 touchdowns, even if it's scrub time a little bit. So I might like the over in this game. Buffalo, though, I'm buying Buffalo still. They struggled with Baltimore, but it was in the weather. Buffalo still really hasn't got that good of a spot yet. They've had some weird, tricky spots with weather and different things. They're ready for an explosion. I don't know if it'll be this week because it's versus Pittsburgh and they're a 2-touchdown favorite, but I'm still buying them big time. That was a big win in Baltimore with the weather, everything that goes into it. Wins like that propel you across the season because honestly, they probably should have lost. It was some weird decisions. They could have easily fallen, but I'm buying Buffalo. Were we talking about the ball? Oh yeah, because we were segueing from the other Baltimore.
You're just making me think of how the Ravens just hate overtime. So many times they've done the 2 points.
That was one of the most egregious, though. Why would you not kick? I don't know. It's being results oriented too, because if they get it, I'm not saying it as much, but still, well, just kick it. What are you doing?
And always overthinking it.
And they never get it right either, though. How come they never convert? That would help.
More the last few times. Trust me, it's my team. I know it's so bad, man. It's been so bad, but a lot of times it makes sense. You got to go for it. You just end the game now. You're right there. I got no problem with it, but this one seemed a little bit odd to me. JSU,
even if you get the touchdown, you're not guaranteed to win. And if you kick it, at least you make them to where you might get overtime. You can't just let them have a field goal to win it.
I just don't understand. Why are you afraid? Overtime. It's just overtime. It's overtime. It's just more football.
And you're at home.
You're at home. I mean, come on, you got Lamar. I don't know.
Just get a chance at it. That's I like that better. Again, I know the analytics will say different in most cases, but the point being, it hasn't worked out. So that's the thing. I know it's short-term thinking, but either way, JSU, anything else in this game? If not, let's go to the Giants beating the Bears 20-12 for DFS. We had Herbert versus Barkley in that game, but any thoughts on this one any further? If not, let's go to Bears Giants.
No, I mean, from the Buffalo side, the one other thing I'll just point out is that they just put Isaiah McKenzie in the concussion protocol. Crowder's already, I think he's out. He suffered a broken ankle, so he's out. And Kumero's been out the last 2 weeks. I don't know if he's going to come back this week, but man, they might only have like 3 or 4 dudes ready. That young kid Shakir might be thrusted into a big role. The running backs might have to maybe this is the James Cook game, Tony, where he's got to play a little more passing down work if all those wide receivers are actually out. So just something to monitor, that they'll be down pieces. And if you think Buffalo's putting up 30 plus, one or two dudes are going to do some real damage, and they only got a few guys left. So just interesting for fantasy.
And we got our run backs in that game. We already talked. This is good for the look ahead. We don't need to do it later when we go to Bills Ravens because we talked about both sides. But the guys you said, Freiermuth or Pickens, like you've got your run backs there. If you want to go Deontay, you could, but I just think those other guys are cheaper, probably in a better spot, and probably more comfortable with a guy like Kenny Pickett. So who we've already got the news is getting it to go back out there. So good point bringing that up. Giants versus Bears. Giants won 20-12. JSU, thoughts on that?
I mean, that game was tough. Did you guys watch that game? That game was just tough.
I tried not to. Yeah.
No, honestly, I had it on and I was trying not to watch the game. Like it was just really, really hard to watch. So I don't really love either team right now. The quarterbacks for the Giants are both injured. So they're both kind of nicked up. So we'll have to see on that. I don't know. Who do the Giants play this coming week, Tambo?
They're going into Green Bay, Lambeau.
Oh, they're going into Lambeau?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be interesting. But
early game,
Chicago's probably going to get dusted by
favorites.
Minnesota.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Packers are 8-point favorites. Chicago's probably going to get dusted by Minnesota. The Giants against the Packers. Let's see what happens with the quarterbacks. I think that's going to play a part because the Giants right now, man, their offense is it's not good. They have no receivers. I mean, everything's just trending bad. They could easily get dusted.
That's right. Actually, good. The chat reminded me. I forgot we had back-to-back London games. It's a London game, but at the same point you bring up, that makes it whatever. It's more neutral for sure than going into Lambeau. But you mentioned today, I think they said they're bringing back Jake Fromm is who they have to bring back likely for their quarterback, right? So we'll see what they end up doing there. But yeah, you have to wait and see on some of the injury stuff.
Jake Fromm? That's going to be a tough, Tony, tough scene for the Giants if Jake Fromm's your starting quarterback here.
Yeah, I hate the Giants. Even when they look so bad to me in a few of these games, even though their record looked better. It's another team that I look at them and I gave the speech, but they don't have dudes. These teams without guys, Green Bay's kind of similar in that way too, where they don't have a whole lot either, but they do got Rodgers still. He's on a little bit of a mission, I think. He played pretty good last week, even though the score didn't fully indicate it. He looked pretty good. I mean, the Dubs drop, which the NFL catch rule is still so stupid to me. Like, you can catch it and stretch it across the goal line. It's good once it hits the goal line, but the dude has it clearly. Both hands. He's got a possession. Clearly, I didn't want him to catch it. It would have cost me a lot of money. It's just being honest, though. He caught it. Why does the ground freaking matter? He's got the damn ball and both feet on the ground. A whole different point. I don't want to go on a tangent, but that should be a catch. It's freaking stupid. And Green Bay though. So people watching this show, do a 2-team teaser, Green Bay and Minnesota, and just go collect your money and do it before maybe the Fromm news gets announced. Who knows? Right now though, you can get both teams 1-2 point favorite teaser, just free money. So go do that while you're watching it.
Generational?
I can't throw that word out every week. I got to save it for every once in a while, throw that word out there. It's a winner though.
All right, let's move it along. Let's talk about the Titans Colts, Big T. Titans went in, got the job done, 24-17. What are your thoughts there on that game?
Yeah, so the Titans, man, the poor Colts too. I fell in the Pittman trap. One thing I was definitely wrong on last week. I taken a few victory laps. I'm definitely taking an L on Pittman. He had 2 chances in the end zone where the ball was kind of around him. Maybe he could have caught it, got his feet down. I don't know. Just the Colts just look terrible. And now Johnny Taylor's hurt. I don't know. The Colts have just been bad. Now they get – what's the number in this game?
It's 3.5, 40.
Oh, the Thursday game.
Thursday Night Football.
Broncos.
We'll be talking about it again for Thursday Night Football, the 3 of us.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Johnny Taylor, he gets no time to heal. He's probably not going to play.
He ain't going to play.
Their offensive line has been awful, which is the other thing too. Just absolutely terrible. Matt Ryan's been bad. Like the whole team, like it just, top to bottom, that offense has just struggled in the Colts. And I'm definitely going to like Denver here. I already know looking at that, I'm going to like Denver. I don't know how you can like the Colts looking the way they've looked.
I thought you called it.
First of all, I'm with you. I like Denver in the game, but I'll tell you how, because Denver's offense looks absolutely terrible too.
Oh, you don't have to sell me on that part of the game. It's just if this was in Indianapolis, maybe, but like.
It could definitely be another like 13-10 game, though, is how they would win.
I kind of like the under too on top of it.
I don't see any way it goes over. Like literally no way. Like that's another winner on this show, because there's no way that I don't know how it's 43. It blows my mind that it's 43, unless for some reason they just think JT will be out and they just start airing it out or something. That's not going to help them though. I mean, Denver's pass defense is what they're good at. So I don't see points. I agree. I don't love Denver either. I mean, we'll talk about the showdown side of it on Thursday on our show, but man, this is an ugly Thursday game, which is good for showdown sometimes. We can do different things, as we'll get into for that slate. But as far as actual football, puke. I want no part of this game.
Jesse, what about the look ahead for the Titans here? So they come off this dub, go in to play Washington Commanders at home against Titans this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Washington, one team, just speaking to them real quick, but they've had to play. So they start off with Jacksonville and Detroit. Jacksonville's actually looked pretty good, but like Detroit's not that good, obviously, especially defensively. Then they go through the buzzsaw of Philly's defense and Dallas defense, 1-2. And now they get the Titans defense, and the Titans defense is not good by any means. So this is definitely a spot where I do think Carson Wentz, at least from a stats perspective, will bounce back a little bit, have a little better game. I'm not saying he's going to be like the best fantasy quarterback or anything like that this week. I just think he bounces back after having 2 performances that are I think he had under 10 fantasy points in both of them. I think they were like 9. He'll bounce back a little bit. This game's at home. The other thing, Derrick Henry, the big dog, he's slowly starting to get more and more kind of looking like himself. And Tony's hinted to this for years, but like you like to play him after he's had games under his belts as defenses start to wear down later in the year. But that's it's their offense, right? I mean, like Ryan Tannehill, they lose Burks. Burks is probably not going to play in this game. So, big dog's probably going to have a heavy workload. I don't know if he's going to eat. I don't know if I'm going to play him in DFS, but I do think he gets another big workload here against Washington. And I think it's a close game, honestly. I would probably take the dog, honestly, at home over Tennessee. If you made me pick right now, I think Washington has a shot to actually, stay in this game and maybe win it.
Yeah, I had to look it up, Big T, with one thing with Big Dog, just real quick. So what is this now? 5 targets last week. This that we're talking about, 6 targets the week before. This has always been the conversation. JS, you just mentioned it as well with Burks going down, unfortunately for them, right? Like, do we think we see these targets keep up for Big Dog, or what are your thoughts here with Derrick Henry?
How many did he catch?
That was the problem. I know he dropped a wide open one. I remember that watching it live where I was like, that's why he doesn't get targets. I remember, but go ahead.
He caught 3 of 5 targets last week. He caught 5 of 6 the week before. And Tambo said he dropped. There was one.
They're valuable targets. Like they're literally dropping it right into him and then letting him do his thing. It's what you would want. It's just, do you think it continues? And now here in this matchup, it's on the road against Washington. I'm not sure if you think that matters or not, Big T.
I feel redundant and we do all these shows, but man, Tennessee has nobody. Like, I know Washington's defense is bad, like not great, but if they know you got no receivers, I just struggle to play Henry when, I don't know, like in theory, it's a good spot, and they should give him, I do think they'll keep giving him dump offs, which they should. But man, like if the whole defense can focus on a dude that's that big, I know all it takes is a crack and he breaks one tackle and he's gone. But I don't know. I hate Tennessee. I think they're literally terrible. I don't like their guys. I don't like Washington, so I just don't like them. I would take Tennessee, though, if I had to pick a side, because I really don't like Washington. But
a little more neutral. Okay.
I'm neutral here. I don't have any strong takes.
We've got some strong takes on the other ones. That's what it's all about. That's the whole point of this. And we'll catch on more. Like I said, we got Print Factory. We've got other shows coming out. Do us a favor. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, guys. 180 plus watching now. Should be at 100 likes by now. I think just keep these videos out, keep them rolling, because this is a extra free video that we just added to the core that we've mixed it in now that we want to do every week. So make sure you do that for us. Big T, sticking with you here.
I got one take from the chat too. This Justin Dupengazer or whatever his name. And McLaurin seems due for an explosion. That's a good call. We weren't talking much DFS, but Tennessee can't stop any receivers. I played Pittman in this spot last week. I don't hate McLaurin coming back in this spot for a little bit of an explosion. Go right back to the same well. I don't mind that, Justin.
And Jahan Dotson looks like he may be out a week or two. They said he might hamstring injury that might keep him out for a week. So that's another thing that might kind of bump up these receivers. I agree, 100%.
Terry M, put it on the chart. I like it. Let's go Big T to this next one. Chargers at Texans. Hinted at it a little bit earlier. Eckler obviously walked all over them, but not just that. Herbert did his thing, over 300 yards. Mike Williams had a good day. I think it was like 12-170. It was something big, 12-140. I can't remember the exact stat line. And then Everett had a pretty good day as well. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this game here? What did you take away from the Chargers at the Texans?
Yeah, I thought it was a trap spot for the Chargers. I thought the Texans would play them tough. I didn't like the Chargers with all the injuries. They came and they played good, and they owned Houston. They owned me. I didn't bet it, but I would have bet Houston for sure. So I would have had the wrong side without a doubt. Chargers look good, which is good to see anyways, because we all thought they'd be a good team. I want them to be good. I like their guys. I love Herbert. I love Big Mike. I don't mind Eckler. I like their defensive guys. I like the Chargers. I'm buying the Chargers. I just was worried what I saw. And to be honest, I don't think this is a great spot coming forward for them. As you look ahead, they're in Cleveland. They're -2.5 or 3. I like Cleveland a lot in that look ahead spot. They're going to dominate the line of scrimmage like they always do, coming off a weird road loss. I think everyone's going to be on the Chargers coming off that big win in Houston. I think it's a tricky spot again for the Chargers where, I don't know, a letdown spot a little bit coming off. They got it back going again. Now they got to stop a physical football team like the Browns. I really like the Browns in the look ahead spot, but to polish off last week, Chargers really showed me something. I was happy to see them look good. Houston, I mean, who knows what you're getting from Houston? They're not a good team. Sometimes they show up and play good, but overall, I mean, they're not good. So it's pretty simple.
It was, and I said 12-170. Obviously, that'd be a big line. It was 7-120 for Mike Will. Big day for him. Obviously, no Keenan Allen, JSU. Your thoughts, takeaways from the Chargers at Texans? And then looking ahead, Big T hinted at it, it's Chargers in Cleveland. For the Texans, like I mentioned, they're going on the road to play the Jags. So, maybe takeaways there. I talked earlier about these running backs, like Eckler just beat up the Texans. Can the Jags get something going there again as well? Thoughts on all of that, JSU?
Yeah, so I did think that just looking ahead to the Chargers-Browns game, personally, I'm 100% with Tony. I think it's kind of the Browns can control this game to the point where they can keep it close enough and control the line of scrimmage. I definitely think you can run on the Chargers, and the Browns are not shy about what they want to do. They want to pound that rock. Nick Chubb, he is one of the toughest runners in all of football. The guy's just relentless. He's a truck. And once he turns his hips and hits that hole, dude is gone. Like, he's so good. I agree. I think Cleveland is the right side of that game for sure against the Chargers. Looking forward. And then what was the other spot? The Jags and the Texans?
Just any thoughts on the Jags Texans? Because that's who's playing this week, right? Houston's
another
going
spot. Target running backs against the Texans. Just continue to keep doing it. So I don't know what James Robinson's price is on DraftKings, but Travis Etienne, one of those guys probably has a good fantasy game, I'm sure. Depending on what their prices are.
We're waiting on this ETN game. I think everyone's just trying to make this thing happen, and it just hasn't yet. So, but we did talk some Browns there, and we'll segue with that. We go to the next game, JSU. Browns at the Falcons. Falcons got the job done in the end, 23-20. This was a game that was, heavily targeted in DFS last week. People were betting on it. Mariota, London, Pitts, Chubb there playing in Georgia, where he's from and went to college. Just all these factors. Amari Cooper let a lot of people down. Talk to us about this game, JSU. Browns at Falcons.
I mean, Mariota was just bad too. A lot of missed opportunities, I think, on both sides for more points than what it could have been personally. 23-20. I just thought there were a lot of things in that game. Nick Chubb, I think, was close to breaking off a few more runs that he just missed, string tackles from behind. And he's just, he's a beast, but I mean, nothing really crazy to say about that game. It went kind of how I thought personally. So nothing crazy outside of Mariota, just not good.
Big T, before you go to that game, one thought I just had on the last game for one quick second was this week here, we've got, who did the Eagles just play? The Jags. Oh, Dameon Pierce. It still was good in that game, right? You were on him. I know both you guys were on him last week. I told you at the top of the show, we had him down in the notes. This week going in for Houston to play the Jags. Last week is this next seg we're going to go to eventually anyway, but Miles Sanders, Hurts, Gainwell, because they had no Scott. I think everybody that ran all over those Jags. And I think JSU, you just mentioned like what I was thinking, the Jags running over the Texans. Big T though, any thoughts on Pierce this week against the Jags?
Yeah, I won't be on Pierce this week. I don't play running backs all that often when they're a 7.5 point dog. I don't know. I would have to be like a pass catching guy that I'm super confident in workload. Like, I don't know an example, but somebody that I'm confident in workload playing from behind. Pierce, I'm not confident in his workload if they're trailing most of the game. I definitely won't be going there this week. I can guarantee you. I don't know his price and stuff, but I guarantee you I won't be on.
I just looked it up. He's 6,200.
Yeah, like definitely not. It won't be a spot I'm on. I love Jacksonville in teasers, though. I already gave the one teaser. They're -7.5. They're not losing to Houston, so that's another really good teaser. This could be a teaser week. I haven't done much with them this year. A couple of these games this week look very, very good to me in the look-ahead spots.
I told you, take these notes, people. Like, this is when Big T gets these teasers going. I've just never made as much money betting those weeks as just putting those together and then round-robining them all up, and you end up just hitting all of them, and it just is a big, big week. So
this looks like this week. There's a lot of really good spots this week for the looks of it.
Love to hear that. Let's go back to it. I know what running backs you do like playing this season, at least so far, 4 weeks in, Big T. You love the cheap running backs, and now Cordarrelle Patterson's out. We talked about the Falcons and the Browns, but Tyler Algier is your boy. I know you and JSU have both mentioned this guy a couple times this season on shows. Now it looks like he could come in and take some of the work. So what are your thoughts on that? And then I got to bring this up. The chat's been dying for it already. You know who the Falcons play this week, right?
Yeah, Tampa.
And you know who is the quarterback for Tampa, right?
Tom.
And you know what AB posted on his Instagram today, or did you not see that? I don't know.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, I know. I noticed all the shit talk. So yeah.
Okay, you did. People said cheeks were clapping, and maybe that was the situation. I don't know. It could be, but everyone's saying
you get that big sausage
Tom
from the pool in there. You never know what'll happen. Even Thomas can get scared out of there a little bit.
But that may be making her go back for round 2, 3, or who knows what. Maybe when she was staying at and he was staying at the house. Maybe that's what happened. We're all speculation here only, but that game this week, talk to me a little bit about that, because that's the look ahead spot for the Falcons, right? Playing Tampa Bay.
So those are the people that have watched all our shows this year know that how much I hate Tampa. I've been preaching all year to bet the field against them at that line. they just look bad to me. And you're telling me I can get Atlanta plus 8.5? Like, sign me up. I'm high on Atlanta. I've talked about them all year. They're better than people think. I mean, they keep playing good. They're better than people think, and Tampa's way worse than people think. That's the perfect combination for a good bet in my mind. So I'm going to be on Atlanta for sure. And yeah, we've been playing Algier with Cordero in there. Now that Cordero's out, at least I think he's out, right? He's on the IL. Yeah.
He's on IR. Yeah.
Yeah. IR. I meant, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have to like him, even though he's a dog. I just gave my speech about not liking the plays when they're a dog like this, 7.5, 8 points, but it's a little bit different to me because I think Atlanta could win the game. I like Atlanta. I mean, even if they don't win, I think they keep it close. So I think Algier gets a decent amount of work. And who'd Tampa? Yeah, I mean, Tampa's been getting beat up a little bit on the ground too this year, more than usual. I just don't think Tampa's any good. So I'm going to focus on the Atlanta spot. And I like Algier in there.
Yeah, I like that. JSU, let's go to the next one, man. We talked already about the Commanders playing the Titans this week. So we've talked about the look ahead, but Washington lost to Dallas last week, 25-10 Dallas. Man, the Cooper Rush, the situation's getting stronger there. It continues to move on. Sounds like I heard Dak got the stitches out. He's ready to go, wants to come back. What's going to happen here, man? And then just takeaways from that game. Cowboys beating Washington 25-10 last week.
Yeah, it went just about exactly how I thought it would go. Dallas would command the game and own the Commanders.
Ooh,
and
I like that.
Yeah,
Dallas
you like
would
that.
Command the Commanders.
Yes.
Yeah, you like that. And you know, the defense was good. Now only 2 sacks. I said 4+, so I wasn't happy about that. But you know, hey, they got 2 picks, so it almost equaled out. I was pretty happy with the defensive performance here. And I told that was another thing for DFS. I was like, just take your 10 points and just move on defensively. Obviously, if you played the Eagles, you were pretty happy. They were a good defense to play in DFS. But overall, you're going to want to target defenses against Carson Wentz because even when he's good, he still makes some like just boneheaded mistakes, even when he's playing decent in games. And when he's bad, he can get really bad. So the Washington offensive line's bad. It's just a lot of things with that team. But yeah, the game went exactly how I thought. Low scoring. Dallas would kind of command it and just really kind of force Carson Wentz into bad situations where he's going to turn over. And that's what happened.
Hey, speaking of that, we didn't talk about this when we were on it before. We went to Big Dog instead. Maybe it's a Big Dog Titans D week where he picks up some of those extra targets again. He does get one and roll it out. And then you got the Titans D against Wentz. What about that little combo?
That's something I might be interested in.
It's definitely interesting. Okay. Yeah.
That's a tasty definitely combo. Interesting. All right. I like that. Big T, thoughts, other stuff here that we're talking about. Dallas is the other side of it, right? Dallas is going to play this week against the Rams, who you just talked about what we saw last night. But any thoughts on that or anything else you want to bring up from these spots?
So, yeah, I think I get better every single season, NFL, NBA, MLB, everything as the year goes, because I trust my reads. I follow it as close as anyone. I watch it. I trust my reads once I start seeing it, and I feel like I have a good read on the Rams and Dallas for that matter. And I can't believe Dallas is going to get 4.5. Give me Dallas. I'm buying Dallas fully. Dallas and Philly have good defenses. Those can translate. They have enough offensive pieces too. I can't believe Dallas is 4.5-point dog. That's one of the games I say, you don't need the points. Tell the bookmaker, give them to the next guy. We don't need them. We'll win this game outright. The Rams are not a good football team. I don't think they're even – they got the best receiver in football, Cooper Kupp. That's all they got, though. Their defense isn't even any good this year, I don't think. I'm all aboard the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are very impressive. Honestly, right now, if I had to pick a team to win the NFC, I would take the Cowboys. I don't know what their odds are. They look good to me. I'm buying in on them. I like their guys. They got Gallup back. We keep talking about dudes. Schultz, Gallup, CD, the running backs. The quarterbacks, I'm even buying in, both of them. I mean, I like Cooper. I wish Cooper would play long. Of course, Dak's trying to come back because the damn dude's better than him. I'd want to get back on the field, too, before he gets a few more dubs. I mean, when the dude's 6-0, how are they going to bring Dak back? If he has one bad game, the whole fan base is going to be rioting. So,
because Dak makes $40 million.
I was going to say.
He can make whatever he wants. If he comes back and they start struggling, that fan base is going to be riled up.
I'm not against you. I'm just saying that would be the reason why, like, for sure, if anything.
They have the history, JSU. They like paying guys big money that aren't the right guy when they already have something else sitting right there in front of them.
Imagine if they could get rid of Dak and Zeke and get all that money and just play Cooper and Pollard and just print with that defense.
Yeah. And then
I love the Cowboys. Cowboys might be my favorite game of the week. Just looking ahead real quick. I
love the confidence, the swagger of that's when we tell the bookie, just don't even worry about those points. We just got this money line, baby. Let's go. JSU.
Someone needs it more than you. I mean, tell them they can have it on a tougher game.
More than me. I'll take the money line for you. No problem. I got you. And I'm still going to collect. They may still collect on that game, though, because I don't think as many people are going to have that take. We'll see how the week shakes out, but I think people will want to hop right back on the Rams here. And
I can't believe they're favored by 4.5. I literally can't believe it.
I'm actually stunned too. So I'm glad that me and Tony see this, because did anyone watch how the Rams offensive line just imploded against a team in San Francisco? They knew it from the get-go because they never blitzed. They were actually talking about it. If you just watch the game, they were actually talking about how they blitz almost like the least in football or whatever it was. And DeMeco Ryans was going at him from the jump. So they knew coming in, their game plan was to just attack the offensive line. They lose a tackle who was the backup. So they bring in like the third string guy. I mean, the Rams are just in shambles. Like, they're
by the way, who owns them more than Shanahan and the Niners?
The pictures of him with his family, and then they add McVay as the other kid. It's just so good.
Even the playoff game, people forget this. The Niners were the better team in the playoff game. They just lost the game. They were better, though.
God, I still see Debo crying. I still see his face just crying, like just tears. Just he wanted it. It's sad. I still see it.
I was going to ask you, Jesse, the Dallas D you were on so heavy last week. Like you said, they got the 2 picks. They were there, but it wasn't like you needed them and they didn't go off, didn't break a slate. Not that any really did, but point being, what about just going right back to them this week? We just talked about all that stuff. Like, they should get after Stafford big time. Look at what happened last night.
Well, and I hope that they just watch last game, literally yesterday's film, and they just go, dude, all he's doing is throwing to 2 guys.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing. And in Tyler Higbee, the guy can't move after the catch. So it's all dump offs after
8 catches for 70 because it's just 5, 7, 10.
Yeah, but what's happening is like Tyler Higbee's chipping and then going. So like all the defenders are backing up. So he catches and then he runs about 8 yards for them to get up to him and he goes out of bounds. That's how he's racking up his yardage, but he's not like making crazy plays after the catch. They're like just easy check down passes. And if you start taking away those and trying to make Stafford, if you obviously they'll get pressure, but make him throw to other guys, make him throw to Skowronek, who he clearly doesn't want to, Allen Robinson, who couldn't get separation, even if Big T was on him. Like literally, like it doesn't matter. You got to make him throw to these other dudes. And he clearly just doesn't want to. He's clearly not confident in any of these other guys. And that's going to be trouble for the Rams when you got good defenses who can recognize it. They're going to just start playing it differently and forcing you to kind of throw to others. And eventually, like Dallas, I think will do that for sure.
Yeah. People must be watching this show at work or something, man. They got them broken mouses. All you got to do is click that little thumbs up button or step outside your office for a minute. Let the boss know you need a new mouse that works. So you can click that like button because we got over 200 watching. Brand new free show brought to you guys, bringing all these picks. I got a list full of winners. I'm taking my notes, like I said, and you should be too. But
what's lots going on. If you can click it, you can like it. What do you always say?
If you can type, you can like. All the chatters, though,
I bet you can like.
It's everybody else at work that's sitting there like this or like looking around and doing their thing.
He's got those one hitters, Tony. He's got them all. He's got
They're
all
my favorite.
Hitters. Yeah.
Tap it. Should be at 100 easy.
My favorite
already.
part about Tambo too, he's like a comedian. He never even smiles. He just stays stone faced.
No, he stays strong too. I struggle with that. Tambo's really good at staying strong as he says it.
Thanks for the compliment, guys.
No
Big
problem.
T, back to you. Let's go to this next game. We're making good time. An hour in here. Let's roll with Jaguars. Jaguars at the Eagles. Eagles got the job done. Talked about how they ran all over them. 29-21. Philly wins. Thoughts on that game?
Who, me? Yeah. So Jacksonville started out good too. And honestly, I played Jacksonville's defense a bunch with that weather last week. So I was happy with the start. And then Philly just showed their mettle. I mean, they went down and it looked bad for the beginning. They scored on defense. Things were looking how it used to look in Philly, where they would struggle and they would have these games where Hurts would just be awful. But then they just got it done. They just got in there, grinded back in the game and owned them, to be honest. I mean, they were just a way, way better team and they're just good. So that's what I took from it. Jacksonville, I was honestly pretty impressed with them still. It was a tough spot. Philadelphia's defense is just nasty. Like, they're just good, them in Dallas. So I don't know. I was impressed with both teams, honestly, and the look aheads every single week. Philly is going to have easy games. This week they play at Arizona. That's how far things have come. Philadelphia is a 5.5 point favorite in Arizona. Like middle of last year, you would have never seen that. It would have been opposite, like Arizona minus 5.5. That's how far it's flipped. I will just caution, even though I would never bet Arizona because I think they're terrible. It is the number I always talk about, that 5.5 number on the road where it's just super trappy. I won't do it here because I think Philadelphia's D's great, and I think Arizona's awful. They're another team that we should have like a list. I'm going to do it for the next one of all the teams I think are terrible. Arizona, I mean, they've even won a few games, but I haven't been even remotely impressed. I think they're so terrible. But
we can have a segment, Tony's terrible list or something like that. Like I would love that. We need his own segment, Tambo.
I mean, I can do it real quick, just in like 2 seconds here. I'll just go right down the list of games this week. I think.
Is it Tony's terrible teams?
Because some of them are like good teams that I think suck too. So
Tony, you want to save it for the end? We'll save it for the end.
Yeah, I'll do it at the end. I'll just go down the list to finish the show.
I care more about than this game, JSU, to the look ahead. I know he just hinted at it, but everyone wants to talk about this already. Is this going to be the game where we finally get Kyler to show up? Because it's with Hurts pushing him the back and forth. I don't know. I mean, the chat's already looking for it. They're saying overstack the game. It's almost a 50-point total. Arizona at home in the Dome. What do you think?
Overstacking against this Philly defense. I don't know about that. I mean, this Philly defense looks legit, and the Cardinals do not look legit at all. They look terrible, as Big T would say. So I am not overstacking. Is this game
going to be popular? Oh, baby, it's going to be a good week.
I hope so. I hope so.
What's the highest total on the slate? I didn't even fully look. It's this one, right?
Yeah,
this
by
was the
far
highest total.
By far the highest.
And on my book, it's only 49.5, so it's not even 50.
It's taking me everything not to just shove all in on this Philly team at 5.5.
The thing is, I don't know if it's that trappy because people still think Arizona's better than they are. So it almost makes me want to go with you and just jam Philly.
I just want to jam. I think they win by 2 touchdowns. I literally like 2 touchdowns.
Who loves Hopkins more than Uncle T? Like,
I know he's already stroking it over
like he thinks Hopkins is like Randy Moss. Like he's so happy Hopkins is coming back.
Yeah, he's not even coming. Isn't he coming back?
No, he's that's what Big T's saying. He's so hyped that he even put in 2 weeks. He knows
he's talking about it at lunch today. Like, I can't wait for until Hopkins comes back.
And isn't it longer? Isn't it like an 8-week suspension? We're only on week 5. Like, I don't know.
Uncle T, when you say things like that, it makes Tony want you to pay the lunch bill when you say
he paid today. Uncle T got that lunch bill today, baby. Let's go, Uncle T.
What a guy.
Anything else here, JSU, you want to talk about with the look ahead spots?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to like this game probably as much as the people may like it for fantasy, I guess. I know it's only Tuesday, though, so things can change. You never know what, stuff changes. But, yeah, I'm not going to like this game as much.
We talked about both these look ahead spots, so nothing really else here. But the Bills versus Ravens was the next one up. Bills come back from 23 down to win the game. We talked a lot about this one, but do you have anything else you want to add, JSU?
No, I mean, we kind of already touched on it.
We really lumped this one into all the other spots. So it's kind of like one I feel like we hit, but if nothing
I think
else.
The weather played a big factor on both sides. I mean, Rashad Bateman, by the way, I know he got nicked up a little bit, but he couldn't catch. He was struggling a little bit out there. Then he got hurt. And that's another team where, like, if Andrews isn't doing nothing and Lamar's not running and Bateman's not out there, man, who do they have after that? Duvernay and who do they have? James Prochet and I'm blanking on. Yeah, just like nothing.
How tilting was it, by the way, that I give my whole speech about not going down at tight end ever, and then Andrews gets me like whatever he got, nothing basically. It was so tilting.
But like it's going to come full circle because this week he'll probably score 2 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like it's just, eventually though, what you're saying I think is right. We're like for the most part, Travis Kelce's on the
Hawkinson
slate,
fell in the same bucket, to be fair, where he would have been a great play too, and he smashed. So yeah.
Hawkinson,
don't forget about Andrews captain Sunday Night Football showdown, baby. We can get back on that Mark Andrews train right there when nobody else wants to.
I think it's a Burrow captain.
Come on,
I think it's
losing
a Burrow
Cobb
captain.
One. The hairline ain't on purpose. You guys really think I'm losing my hair? You guys nuts?
You're gonna have
it's
to grow
funny,
it out.
like. And now I have to like look at it because I never even thought it. And now
I'm growing it
out
now. These guys are pissing me off.
When you got the back, they're saying that you got the backwards hat on and you got the whole oval thing there.
Because I cut it low, people.
Circle, and that you still can't see no hair. You got your unit like this, but you can't see no hair.
LeBron James, a DFS. I kind of wouldn't argue with some of it. I mean,
I get it cut short, people. It's on purpose.
Oh no, the chat. We'll see if they agree.
I mean, if I had like some action to like grow it out for you, I don't want it to be long though to prove my point. I'd rather just be short. I need like someone to make a bet that I can't let it grow for a year.
No, they're saying enjoy your chilies, big boy. Sorry, they got all the lines out today.
I agree with that. I do like chilies too, by the way.
That was the takeaway, by the way. The funny part the other day where K Falik with me and JSU, he got so mad. He said, "You guys are the worst with that take." They got the good things. They got the good.
I like chilies.
K Falik was drooling over the chicken.
You guys don't like chilies?
No. I told this story. I literally grew up behind it. Like Chili's was right in front of my house street that I was on. So I could walk through the woods and I'd come out of the back of a Chili's. Like it was that close to my house. I'd walk to it all the time. Yeah. I always went to Chili's. I like the ribs. But K Falik was drooling over the chicken crispers. He loved those chicken crispers.
I actually like Chili's a lot. It's the funny part.
Richie Small said it's because you're kind of a ginger, Big T, so it's just hard to see. That's a good excuse if it ever does get to that point. You could just say that.
Nobody in my family's freaking bald. We all got hair. We're not a balding family. I'm going to grow it out. I can't handle this slander.
Vader,
you can't grow it out.
I know. I probably won't. I hate it long. I go like 2 weeks and I need it cut.
Did you ever get the Vader before? You must have.
Vader? I never got no Vader. I don't even know what that means.
Like Big Van Vader, the WWF.
That's freaking K Falik.
Yeah, it's still good, man. I don't know. They're kind of giving it to you too.
I'm not happy with Chad today.
I like Chad.
That's hurt my feelings.
Like I said, I'm playing. It's my wife's birthday. Actually.
Oh, Romeo said Carlos Boozer.
Oh, geez, that's a bad. That one's a bad one. You can't do that one.
Tony, you definitely hated Carlos Boozer.
Man,
there was just no way you.
Yeah, Romeo
Carlos
got
Boozer
your back, Big T. He said Big T is not Carlos Boozer. People, like, come on, leave my guy alone. They said, let's go.
Barrick mullet going, Barrick. Love you, Barrick. Had fun hanging out in Chicago. I won't be having a mullet no matter what. You would have to make me a large bet to get me rocking a mullet.
Oh, wait, honestly, I would love to see you with the mullet. So can we make this bet? Who's got some money? Come on. We need to put some Millie Maker.
It would definitely take over 6 figures to get me to grow.
Oh, come on. Over 6.
I'm telling you right now, if you offered me like $50K to grow a mullet,
he ain't paying 6 figures for that. Hoop's eating turkey sandwiches and bottles of water for lunch still off $1 million win. He's just taking it easy.
He got so mad at me when we were at his lake house because I wanted to go eat lunch. Like, it's my thing. Everyone knows that knows me. I like to go eat lunch. Oh, we got bologna and ham and cheese and all this. I said, I got to go. I got to get out. I got to eat something out. That's my routine. They were all over me.
And Uncle T made a good point in the chat too. JSU is going to your house, right? So I remember
I've asked him I can only ask 35
Kelly
times. I can't get to 36. I've asked him 35 times.
So first of all,
I'm not going to beg, Tambo.
This is a lie. Tony's asked me twice. This is a lie.
More.
Uncle T's actually asked me more than Tony, and I never actually got the invite from the leader of the house, which is Amber Niehaus. I need the invite from the person who controls the ship. Tony may run the ship, but she controls the ship. So don't even lie to the people right now.
Says I'm going to Supercuts. It's a tough day for me.
Oh, they put your Bam Bam Bigelow now. They said you're Bam Bam Bigelow now.
Oh, no, not Bam Bam.
That might be better. Someone get us K-Phallic on Vader, Big T on Bam Bam Bigelow with the suits on together. Oh, my God. Please get me that. Big T, back to it. 5 games left. Panthers played the Cardinals.
Yeah, but you can't go to the man right now. He's in shambles. Look at him. Give him a minute.
It all started with Tambo making fun of my hat. It's just been a tough freaking day for Big T.
That's why this show is so good. That's why the people love it. But now they want to get back to the football because we only got 5 games left and talk about CMC losing to Kyler. Talk to me about this game.
Carolina we said it before last week's game. Carolina, Arizona. I can't think of 2 worse teams. This is why I shipped the afternoon slate. And I got to put it out there too, because Tambo said it on the core report that I'm not playing 25K on an afternoon slate. Everyone keeps thinking that was just an afternoon screenshot. That was my full day. On the core
report, we said Big T shipped 33,000 profit
in the afternoon slate.
No, by winning the afternoon slate, you made 33.
Either way, someone else made a comment that I don't want people to think I'm some major. I'm a DGen, but not full DGen. I'm not playing no 25K just on an afternoon.
Who was the show you were just on where they did that? I forget who it was. Someone
made fun of me for that. Yeah.
Oh, it was JT Hayes yesterday when you were on with Whistles. He says, you always degen off in the afternoon, just fire 30K.
It was him. You're right. I mean, I'm not playing no 25K on an afternoon slate. I promise you. But back to my original point, that's why I won, because Arizona, Carolina was on it. And I knew, what am I going to play besides McCaffrey there? And then the other shitty game was on the slate too. So it was easy just to jam the one game. It made a lot of sense. But man, Arizona, Carolina, I got no takeaways besides both teams suck. I'm very down on both of them. They don't use McCaffrey right at all. I mean, that touchdown he made was unbelievable, how good of a play it was.
Yeah.
The dude is a stud. They just don't use him. DJ Moore's a stud. They don't use him. I actually like Carolina's guys better than Arizona. It's just they're so poorly coached. I hate both teams, so that's my takeaway.
Did you see the stuff about DJ Moore's dad? Needs to talk to OBJ's dad and get on the phone and tell him to figure this situation out, because he can't do nothing right now, man. That's the one guy, DJ Moore.
Yeah, he can't do anything. He's fighting. He's making fun of the court. Everybody hates the 2 guys that most people in the league hate are Baker and Wentz. Like those 2 guys, no one in football likes either one of them. And honestly,
I like Wentz a lot more than Baker. Baker is so bad. Time to pack it up.
I'm not talking even football right here. I'm talking as a person. Like no one likes either one of them.
Yeah.
Wentz with his stupid mask all year. Like, come on, Wentz.
JSU, anything else here with this one? If not, let's go to the Broncos Raiders.
Yeah, no, nothing really. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is, like Tony said, they're just not using him right. And it feels like a lot of his production's coming at the end of games too. Like what are we doing here? I hate Carolina. I hate Arizona too. So both teams I'm lower on. So not much else.
All right.
I got one too. I mean, next week must be easy to look ahead because these games look fucking easy to me.
Dropping F-bombs. Wow, he's pissed,
I didn't mean to. That slipped out
got him angry
in honor of JSU.
JSU's rubbing off.
It's been a tough day. I mean, everyone's coming for me. I mean, that's not usually what I do.
I can't wait to ship MLB tonight. It's going to be a good day.
You starting to talk like me a little bit. It's been a tough day. What do you try? This is how my days usually go, Tony. Usually I'm sitting in your seat getting heckled by the chat. You're killing me.
Now I know why you cuss all the time. It comes full circle.
See, you know.
Back to the games. San Fran only -6 in Carolina. That would be a line I'd bet right now. It's going to get above 7. Just get in there, and I'm going to put it on the sheet, actually. A free bet. I went 3-0 last week, by the way. 3-0 on plays I put on the sheet. I'm going to put this one up right now with that teaser I put. Both those games are winners. San Fran's not even giving a touchdown to Carolina.
San Fran
might be the best team in the NFC. Their defense is incredible. Like, sign me up for that.
Yeah, I like that one. All right. I got nothing else here. I want to move on. Let's go to Patriots Packers then. Big T, I'll stay with you. Packers 27-24.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about every game every week, we have wins and losses. I think we called this game literally perfectly. I even said all week on the shows, like Survivor, everyone's going to play Green Bay, blah, blah, blah. I just didn't feel like they would kill them. I don't think they're a very good team. New England plays a good defense. It basically went perfectly for me because I still used Green Bay on 2 of my 3 survivors. I wasn't confident though. Just because if they lose, everybody gets cleared out, and I didn't feel like they would kill them. So I know on the show I said take the under. I think it might have ended up going over with overtime, but it was an ugly game, and it went exactly how I would expect though. New England hanging around. Maybe Green Bay wins at the end. Maybe New England wins at the end, and that's how it went. I'm selling on both teams. I don't like both teams very much at all. I do like Dubs though. That dude is a stud. He's gonna just keep getting better. I mean, I talked about the touchdown too. That's a damn touchdown. I know he dropped it, but great play. I think he's a stud. I'll say it. I think he's very, very good.
Yeah, he almost had that one too. By the way, can we throw you had Green Bay and Minnesota in that teaser earlier. You're saying we can easily put San Francisco into that.
That's my rules. You always listen to me perfectly. We never tease below 7.
Wait, but they're going to be 7.5 or more.
Then we can put them in when it goes. We got to see
it
go
know
first.
It's going, can't we look ahead?
We don't know though. We think, but we can't do it till we actually see it. With these teasers, the one thing I'll say, I mean, there's a whole book on these things. Only book I've ever read, I think. One book in my life, but you just have to they're the only things you want to bet when the line is as sharp as possible. Everything else, we want to beat the line moves. With the teasers, we want to bet them as sharp as possible. So sometimes Sunday, right before kickoff, when the lines have fully adjusted, that's a sharp line. We want that line. Don't ever tease bullshit. 6.5.
Tony's read a book. I'm calling bullshit. I haven't read a book. No way Tony's read a full book. You read the full book from front to back.
He's pulling it out now. I got books on my shelf. I never read them, but I put them up.
Keep talking while I find it.
All right, go ahead, JSU. Anything on these look ahead spots? We talked about the Patriots already earlier against the Lions. We talked. I think we liked. What do we like on that game? The under, maybe? No, we talked about New England just smashing them and not going to be what we've seen this past week. And then we just talked about the Packers. Did you want to add anything on the Packers?
What's this, baby?
Offense?
Mr. Wong.
Yeah, there it is. And it's Wong teaser week.
Anything. You read the whole thing.
Right there, Wong by Mr. Wong.
I believe that he read that book for
Sharp sports betting, people.
Well, no, I definitely believe he read the book.
Don't be circling back now that I pulled the book out.
Full book. Did he read the full book?
Now JSU moving goalposts.
Yeah, move the goalposts, JSU. Move those goalposts.
Oh, changing the story.
I said full book the whole time. Oh, that's bullshit. All right, whatever. Change my words.
Big red dog. It's on the bottom shelf, Tony.
I still don't believe you. You ain't reading no books. I've never read a book. You're not reading a book either. Stop it. Even a Wong book. So the Patriots game went exactly the way I think all of us on the show, really, Tony, when we talked about it on the Print Factory, I think we all just like the Patriots side from a betting standpoint, like covering. They're going to run the football. The Packers too run the football. Like it's just not a game we want, like the Packers to blow them out. 9.5, I think was the spread. So we were definitely on the right side. For this week, though, I don't know what the look ahead is with either of these teams. Tampa.
We talked about the look aheads. We got the Packers smashing going into against the Giants, and then we've got the other spot with Detroit. We already talked about it with the Patriots, but fitting that Jack Off in the chat said Tony pulled the Wong out, whipped his Wong right out, man, on the show. Love to see it. There you go. C-Dome's in the chat, giving more. He's a really nice guy, giving compliments to JSU as we go.
How come I didn't get no damn compliment on my hair, C-Dome?
Can't see it. Don't even know if you got hair right now with that hat on. Oh, there it is. There it is. That hairline.
I wonder if C-Dome came in late and he's seen all the abuse Tony's taken on his hair or not. I wonder if he came in a little late, Tony. He might not have seen it, or he might have complimented you. But
he picked his side, JSU. It's very clear that he picked his side here and he went with the fresh cut. That's what it is. Big T, talk to me about the Chiefs at the Bucks. We already talked about AB pulling his Wong out, and now it's pulling out the Giselle picture, the look ahead with the Bucks spot. But we got the Chiefs at the Bucks, 41-31. I think the score looks a lot different than if you actually watch the game. It was not close. It was not a 10-point game. So it's just the way it shows on the box score. But go ahead.
I heard you guys talking on the one show. Big T might not like Showdown because my tweet. I watched the review show or whatever you guys. I mean, it was a brutal run out for me. I was super Kansas City heavy. if Mahomes doesn't throw a pick, they were up 17. Brady doesn't even come back in the game. So that ending build never even gets there. But this is the point of showdown too, and why I don't like to follow the result through the standings as the night goes, because literally I pull it up with literally 3 minutes left in the game. I'm up $189,000. 3 minutes left. Kansas City's got the ball even. 4 minutes left maybe. Kansas City has the ball. He throws a pick. If they throw a first down instead of a pick, I probably win 190. Could have won more because I was in 5th place in the Millie, and it was like a 1v1 where it could have swung even more. Instead, I lose $5,000 because throws a pick. Brady goes down. Evans, Lenny, touchdown. And then they get even, I think they got one more drive maybe with a few more things in there. But either way, that's how quick showdown can go. Back to the actual game, Kansas City, I loved Kansas City going into that game because I think Tampa sucks. And I don't love Kansas City, but you still got Patrick Mahomes. You still got a revenge spot against the team that beat him in the Super Bowl. You got spots where Mahomes is just going to show up versus Brady like that, and it worked out that way. The final score was no indication how bad they whooped their ass. They totally went in there and handled them. So, yeah, I'm still all right with Kansas City. I don't think they're like a great team, but if you got Patrick Mahomes, you're always going to have a chance to win any football game you're in. Any football game. He's so freaking good. But, yeah, that's where I'm at.
I was just going to say, you talked about losing at the end of the showdown. I had a similar run out. It was Mike Evans getting the last catch before the lateral that got him the bonus. That shit was good for our guy Locks. Congrats again to him, by the way.
I'm glad he won.
Over at Run Pure. All the content was there. Locks went and won $213,000 with his picks. So just keep that in mind. If you guys haven't signed up yet, now is obviously the time. Crushing it. Hoop won the Millie last week too. Just everything we've got going on. Those are the big wins. Then there's all the other wins. But real quick, Big T, because I'll stay with you. That is the Monday Night Football game. So you will get to go back for some showdown revenge with Kansas City going up division game at home against the Raiders. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I like the Raiders. It's 7.5. The Raiders put it together just a little bit last week, and it's too many points in a division game where the Raiders can score. It is a teaser game too. So the nice part about this, and I already led by talking about all the long stuff, but one thing I love to do is throw Kansas City -7.5, which brings it down to 1 or 1.5, depending on what number you got. Put it in every single thing you do all weekend, all your teasers and throw it in there with everything. And then what we do come Monday night, we see how much we got left of the Chiefs -1.5, and we just bury the Raiders +7.5. And you got a 6-point middle for all the money, total free roll for all the money that the Chiefs win between 2 and 7. And I think they'll win between 2 and 7. I don't think this isn't a game where I want the points in this game. I don't like the money line as much. Circle that, buddy, on the notes.
You got that one circled up. That is great. That's a great spot and way to lay it out, like you said, because you're putting it in to all those teasers we talked about. When you've got it left over, who knows? Number might even get better the other way, and you get an even better spot to middle. So I actually love that call.
And it's a division game too. And you know what? If you're wrong and the Chiefs blow them out or the Raiders win outright, you still win the other side. It's a great middle spot. And what's better on a Monday night than, say, I don't know, like a 20x free roll or however many things you string into it, where if you win, you get 20 times your normal bet. If you lose a little juice. You'll lose a little juice for the middle, but what's better than that? Is that something you might be interested in, Tambo?
I just circled the shit out of it. I'm clearly very interested in that idea.
I forgot to say one thing about today too. Space Cowboy in the chat. My boy Bill owns all these pizza places around here. You guys know him from
our guy. He had the gear, the Kentucky socks, everything on. Remember?
I go in so I got lunch from Uncle T. I go to get my hair cut. He's in the chair ahead of me. As he's getting up, I'm going in. He pays for my haircut. I got the free haircut today too, baby.
Oh, Space Cowboy's the man. He's sharp too. He's sharp too, because a haircut is like such a nice gesture to do that. It's not like just a coffee in the drive-thru or something like that. But he knows you're going to pay him back 10x that, 100x that by just a nice gesture. And he's the man. The pizza shop is incredible. I can't wait to get back down there in March, get that pizza again. We had it at least 2 times. I loved it. It was incredible. But yeah, shout out Space Cowboy. JSU, any thoughts on that Monday Night Football game, man? Kansas City, and then we'll get to the last game. Kansas City at the Raiders, Monday Night Football.
Well, first of all, do people just see how good Tony runs in life? I mean, not just DFS, but in life. The man gets his haircut paid for on top of the food from his uncle. I mean, the guy
Another
just
day
runs
that
up
it's in
here.
why Big T
I couldn't
running
believe
pure.
it when he said it. That was some run pure for sure.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, JSU.
Yeah, so, I mean, with this game, I agree with Tony about the Raiders. Give me the points here against the Chiefs. Also, give me the over. I think there's going to be points on both sides. I agree. It's not a money line game. I don't think I'm not going to bet the Raiders to win on the money line, but I do think there's points. I do think they can hang around and keep it close enough to where they're scoring. And yeah, I'm in on it. So I like Tony was on the Raiders side, at least from a betting perspective. And I do like the over as well. 51. I feel like, honestly, it should be a little higher, but we'll take that as these teams have kind of had some bumps in the road to start. The Raiders for sure, and the Chiefs a little bit. I know the Chiefs kind of got back against Tampa Bay a little bit offensively. They looked a little smoother, but did they look like Pat Mahomes looked great? Their weapons, though, outside of like Travis Kelce, CH was good, but you can't convince me that Isaiah Pacheco just in that role would be any different. Like Isaiah Pacheco is legit. That third dude they got running the football, just wait because he will pass CEH at some point, and it's going to happen. He'll pass Jarrett McKinnon. I think they just like him running the football the most. Like, I don't know if they like him all around better than Jarrett or CEH, but running the football, he looks legit. He looks powerful, strong, hits the hole, can kind of move side to side and then go from there. He finds his way through. So that's just something to look at. They gave him earlier touches, and I think that'll continue throughout the year. So something to keep an eye on for sure is him.
JSU with the good season-long takes. Stash them, pick them up and stash them. Pacheco,
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, if you don't have
Get
him
on
in
his
season
ass,
long, you
Tambo.
should pick him.
I know, I'm teasing him. I love it. We'll use him. JSU will use him in like week 9 and ship.
He says get on him. Tony's like, get that season-long crap out of here. I hate season-long too. So I'm not saying it like that. I'm more saying like he's going to be relevant in DFS at some point this year. I really believe that. I just really believe he's there. He's going to be one of those guys that they just can't keep off the field eventually, that he'll get his role at some point, and I just think from there he'll take it away. But MVS has been awful. Juju hasn't been good. I mean,
How
Tony
does
talks about he's like
just
a
not
200-pound
catch the
linebacker.
ball? Like, catch the ball, dude. Like, it hits
He's
you
not
right in your
good,
chest
man.
over and over. Catch the ball.
His whole
And
thing,
he
even in
falls
Green
down
Bay,
all
was
the
always
time when
the
he
same.
catches it. Like he just
He
terrible.
needed Adams to get like triple coverage to even get a chance to get a ball and then chuck it out to him. He was never good. That's what my point is exactly.
He might have single-handedly cost me that $190K if he just catches a few of those damn balls.
Yeah, that was definitely an opportunity.
There was one of them on third down where
I know that
he
one
missed
you're talking.
it. And then the camera went right to Andy Reid, and Andy Reid he took the clipboard, smacked himself in the thigh with it or something like that. He was so pissed.
It was literally the easiest catch ever. Like,
remember this on Monday Night Football. What was Allen Robinson's ownership last night? It was still there. There was still ownership on Robinson. Everyone's going to still play. MVS is just a guy you have to throw into the pool.
People are lazy with this stuff, man. People run the optimizers. They're lazy. You can take advantage of bad plays for sure.
Last game,
I really think who's a good play with that team, though? Like, they're all just the wide receivers. They're not using McColl as much as I thought. MVS.
That's why lock ship, though. That could honestly be a good build where you go Mahomes with not many pass catchers.
Well, Mahomes actually shows up, but it's Kelce is like a Cup version if they just play it the way they normally do. And so you go him, and the kicker, and that's it. It's like they're going to get to the end zone, red zone. They're going to score points through through Kelce, who's like their Cup. Mahomes will actually show up, and then it can get, if you got CEH, so be it, but the kicker is going to be there as well. So I definitely think that's something to look at for this week.
We got our boy on Twitter liking it too. Scott Pribanow says, I'm laid up with a back strain watching the week 4 preview, and you, JSU, and Tambo are not helping recovery. You fellas are so funny. Hurts so bad when I laugh. Keep up the good work.
Thanks for watching. That click in the back. Go ahead, Jesse.
I love that. I don't love that he's hurting, but I love that we're making him laugh to the point where he can't help himself but have a little pain from it. That makes me feel good that we're at least doing a little bit of a good job. One other thing I'll say, I didn't even realize this, but just looking at the numbers, like you might just want to play the running backs from the Chiefs because it looks like they're all three of them are getting like a little bit of work as opposed to these wide receivers because they just might play three running backs like eventually like 40.
And McKinnon
30,
hasn't got lucky with the game script yet either. Like if he somehow catches a good game script one of these games, he could crush too.
Yeah, I like that call. Yeah. Again, we'll have all the content at Run Pure for Monday Night Football. We'll have a lot of content before then. We still got all the content coming for this week. Thursday Night Football is coming up in a couple of days. We got a lot going on. Big T, last game, full circle. Let's F around and find out. Rams versus the 49ers. We talked a little bit about it throughout. 49ers, I mean, they have to round all right. And the Rams found out that they're not a very good football team. It just did not work out. Looked horrible. Again, Kupp just continues to do his thing. But besides that, I saw nothing else there. What do you got from that game last night?
Yeah, the 49ers own the Rams. Whenever they play again, take the 49ers again. They just own them. It's like big brother versus little brother for the most part. So I'm in on the Niners. They look great versus the Broncos too. They just couldn't score in Denver. That's a tough place to play in a primetime game. Their defense, I just always side with defenses that can overwhelm you, and their defense can overwhelm you. So I've always been high on the Niners. Everybody that's watched the shows know that. Last 5-6 years, I think Shanahan's one of the best coaches. I think their scheme is different than the rest of the NFL, which really gives them advantages. And I love the Niners. I hate the Rams. Yeah, I wish they played every week. We'd be as rich as JSU one day.
I can't wait for that day. JSU, let's round this thing out, man, and then we'll get out of here. But just any other final thoughts on the game? We talked about the look aheads, 49ers to smash against the Panthers, put them into the teaser. I think we looked at, we'll see. Or maybe that's the one we have to wait on. We said they're 6.5. We'll wait on it. We'll wait on it. But the other one is the Rams versus the Cowboys. We could take the Cowboys money line and let the bookie have the points. But anything from the game last night you want to talk about, JSU?
No, yeah, the 49ers, I mean, their run scheme is so unique too. Tony talks about just the scheming and ways they're just adding new stuff in too. It's not like the old stuff. They're adding new stuff, obviously, but like it just looks so good. That Jeff Wilson touchdown run where it was just a hole that was just wide open, the misdirection. There was just so many things going on in a lot of these runs that make it hard for defensive players to really cover it. And then they got Debo and all these other guys. The one thing I will say about San Francisco, be very careful with their tight ends and specifically George Kittle, because when they're down like Trent Williams, they're just going to use them to block more. They're going to use them to chip, and you saw it in that game. They were using guys to help because Jimmy does not. He needs a clean pocket. They know that. I was telling Tambo before we hopped on. Jimmy gets the ball out. His average time in the pocket is the quickest in NFL. Like that dude, one read, second read. If not, he's throwing the ball away. Like that's what he does. He doesn't scan the field, right? He wants to get that ball out as quick as possible. So, they're going to use those guys to help out, whether it's Juszczyk, Kittle, whoever it is. But that's definitely something to think about for fantasy. Now, when Trent Williams comes back, if he comes back, I don't know what his injury is exactly, but maybe then that's a time where you could get on a buy low spot on Kittle, like for DFS.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, actually, that you brought that up, because it was just last night. I would say one thing, like that's where the Kyle Juszczyk, he gets a little bit more action in that spot. But like he does, to me, is not fantasy relevant on a main slate, of course. That's showdown last night, the price tag. I think most people will know that.
Tambo, he could have broke the slate open if Jimmy G saw him wide open for a touchdown. Literally, it had his hands up. That's my point with Jimmy G. There doesn't need to be pressure around him. He just needs to get rid of the football. There was no pressure in that scenario, but he just had to get rid of it. And he didn't see Kyle Juszczyk running butt naked, wide open down that seam. Like he was wide open. They all went with Debo, cleared it out, and he was there, and Jimmy just didn't look up. That's something that it's just always going to be there with Jimmy G. But like you said, for showdown, he's relevant, not for a main slate, though. You can't play someone.
And ML in the chat got us covered. 4 to 6 weeks. Looks like, high ankle sprain. We'll see what happens. But I was going to say last point just here on this one was the matchup this week against Carolina's where Arizona went in last week. I think it was 6 for 47 and a touchdown for Ertz. So they can get there. And one thing I remember about the 49ers, and Big T, you can probably attest to this, and you know what they do. But sometimes once Kittle does have that sort of blocking game, and he tried to catch that touchdown in the end zone, didn't get the second toe down, but they'll sometimes reward him the next game a little bit for getting the job done, getting the W, putting in all that blocking work and a little bit of extra, where maybe on this slate, usually the thing has been, Big T, on main slates, if you can get Kittle, a guy like him at low ownership and no one wants to play him, it's a good spot to get a little bit overweight and get some of that action. So I don't know how you would do it or what your thoughts are on that, but definitely think that's a little bit interesting for this week. If the narrative is going to be that all he did was block last night, it's true for the most part, but when they use him on the certain snaps, it was in the end zone for a touchdown try, a big catch over the middle, 20 yards, things that actually can rack up. So any thoughts on that? And then final thoughts for the week.
Yeah, I just think it's less complicated than people make it. They always talk about the blocking and stuff. I just think he needs to fall into a decent script. Like last night, they were just never going to lose that game by doing what they did, running the ball, him blocking. If you can ever get a team that gets a lead, which Carolina's not going to either. So maybe if you could ever get a team, like say they play a game versus a high-powered offense, whoever, the Chiefs, teams like that, where they get behind 14 points or something, then they're just going to have them go out for patterns. When they're just running the ball down your throat, they just don't need him to. So, yeah, the points are true. I'm not disagreeing with anything, Jay, as you said. Those points are correct. But a lot of it is because that's what they want to do. Their preference is to have him block, pound the ball down your throat with these nice dynamic cutback plays. It's perfect. That's what they want. They don't want Kittle going out for passes. But when he's forced to, he still has the upside. His price is going to get cheaper and cheaper because he hasn't done anything. And still last night, everyone's making fun of the play, and I don't disagree. They got the lead. You're not going to get it. He's still, if he catches that touchdown, he's still in the winner more than likely. And he should have got his feet down. He was there. So it's a lot closer than people think. But you can always guarantee it right now, especially with Trent out. He's going to block unless they're behind. I mean, it's just a given. Can he catch a touchdown? Sure, absolutely. But he doesn't have the same upside in games like that. He can get you 15 or something.
I will say, too, he's a hell of a blocker. He made a few blocks that sprung like big plays. So that's another thing. The coaching staff see it. And like Tony said, the preference is to run. So if the game, he's 100% right about the game script. If they're 14 points down in the third quarter, George Kittle's going to be, going out for more stuff, but they don't want to play those games. They want to play where they're just grinding it out up a little bit. If they have the lead, you're not going to get that type of opportunity and stuff like that. They're going to want to pound the football, get the ball quick out to Debo and Ayuk and let them make run after the catch stuff. And George Kittle's a hell of a blocker. Like he did it last night. You saw a few blocks where he sprung big plays for Wilson and Debo. That's what they do.
Yeah, we're not going to get much because next week they play Atlanta, but week 7, we get the 49ers at home. Williams will still be out against Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
so that's the spot to get after.
That's got to be a primetime game too, I hope.
It's not. It's an afternoon game. I was thinking if it's a primetime game, everyone plays Kelsey, we play Kittle. I'm already thinking ahead, but yeah, it'll be good still. I think that's what you're looking for. Like you said, a good little spot to get after him there. Big T, love doing this show, man. Final thoughts from you this week? Anything you got to add?
Yeah, you want me to go through the teams real quick, or are we doing that later?
Oh, we can do that. JSU, give your final thoughts first, and then we'll go to Big T to get us out of here with that.
Yeah, we need the Big T Tony's terrible teams. We need the Tony terrible team segment. Couple things in the chat. Randone already said that he'd come on and do a show with us next week. So Randone, Big T's going to hold you to it. I saw it in the chat. So Tony, mark that down. Randone said he's going to come on next week at some point and do a show. So hopefully we get that set up. And then Butthole Jenkins, my favorite hater in the chat, which honestly, he is my favorite hater. He's Big T's biggest fan. I think my favorite enemy. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But yes, this says JSU on the damn shirt. What do you think? All right. Obviously, I'm JSU. It says JSU. If you can't figure out what it actually means, then I'm sorry. But my guy Dion, talk to my guy Dion.
JSU is what it means.
Oh,
I
it's
need a
fine if it
JSU
means
sweatshirt.
Deion Sanders. I like Dion too. I'm a fan.
Butthole got them all at the end. Here we go. Jess, you had all the chat stuff saved up. I love it, man. Just keep those notes. Let them know. Anything else football related you want to add before we go to Big T?
No, I love doing the show.
Good.
I like talking football.
Oh, I love it.
I want to hear Tony's terrible team segment. I'm ready.
Go ahead. Give it to us, Big T. What do you got?
Just to make it an easy format, because our boy that does the Print Factory, ODB, just sent a tweet as we were talking about. I don't know if it's because he's watching. He's probably not watching. He's probably playing poker. But if he is listening, he sent out a thing after we talked about it where he's got AFC ranks, NFC ranks. So I'll just read through that. It'll be an easy starting point for me just to go. It'll only be like a couple minutes. But
yeah,
elite in the AFC, he's got the Bills and the Chiefs, which – yeah, I don't totally disagree with that. I can see them being the top two teams right now. Probably good. Chargers, Ravens, Bengals, Dolphins. We talked about the Bengals and the Dolphins. Definitely agree with them being probably good. Chargers as well. Ravens, I would put at the bottom of that tier, but don't totally disagree.
We'll find out Sunday night because we got the Bengals and the Ravens in the mix, so we will see.
They're both in the probably good category, though, for sure. So I agree with them so far. Then he gets to who knows? Browns, Broncos, Jags, Raiders. Yeah, I mean, I'm still with him, I think, here on the chart. I don't have any disagreements with what he's got here. Probably bad. Titans, Colts, Pats, Jets, Steelers. Yes, I'm in on that. All those teams are probably bad. I'm definitely in there. And bad for sure. Texans. Yeah. Actually, I would put the Steelers in bad. I didn't realize there was the same category. So bad teams in the AFC. What do we call this segment?
Tony's terrible teams.
Tony's terrible teams for the AFC. Texans, Steelers, Jets, Pats are the four I would say are for sure terrible. Probably bad. Titans and Colts. I'd put that in there. So that's the AFC. I think his list is pretty good though. I would put more in the bad. He's got probably bad. Same difference. NFC is where we might get a little bit more disagreements, though. So NFC in the elite, he's got the Eagles. We can all agree the Eagles have the easiest schedule, and they've looked great. You have to put them in the elite. I would put also in the elite the Niners and the Cowboys. I think both of them are clearly the next two teams in the NFC. He's got them in the probably good, so he doesn't have them far behind. But I would put them in the same bucket as the Eagles. Probably good. Niners, Packers, Vikings, Rams. This is where we start to disagree. Like, I don't think these are teams that have been good in the past. The last couple of years, they got top quarterbacks. They got good teams. They just won the Super Bowls. I just don't believe it. I don't believe the Bucs are good, even though they're one of the favorites. I don't think the Packers have much. Rams, I talk about how much I hate them. And the Vikings, I like the Vikings. I'd put them in probably good, but I don't think they're great either. Who knows? Cards and Saints, I think they suck. So I know that, ODB. I'm not putting them in the who knows. I know the Cards and the Saints suck. So I'm going to put them in the probably bad. Giants, Falcons, Lions, Seahawks, Commanders. Yeah. I don't know. I probably think the Falcons are a little bit better than probably bad. Who knows, though? A lot of bad teams in the NFC. And for sure bad, Panthers and Bears for him. I agree with that. So Tony's terrible teams in the NFC, Bears, Panthers, Seahawks for sure, Giants, Lions, Commanders, Saints. And I mean, you're talking like 8 to 10 teams are terrible in the NFC. So the only three teams I think are good in the NFC. AFC, a lot of teams. NFC, Eagles, 49ers, Cowboys are my three teams I think are good in the NFC.
Yeah, that's the one. The only one I didn't agree with, and they can stay where they are, was the Cowboys. I don't think they're up with those other ones you mentioned. Like,
I would put them third for sure as of now, but according to the odds, I like them. I'm buying Cowboys.
If they're third, I'm saying you have to still tier them out of those two. I think for me, but no huge disagreements.
Right.
JSU, go ahead.
We have some stuff to deal with in the chat. First of all, Tony's guy, my guy, Space Cowboy says, all I know is JSU is literally unstoppable on the basketball court. Now, I don't know about unstoppable, but my man, I love Space Cowboy. I can't wait to come up to Kentucky next week. I hope Space Cowboys
coming now. Do we lock it in? Did we get it?
No, not a game. I want to see him. I want to hang out with them.
Well, that means you're coming though. Like that means you're coming. When you said next week, you're in.
I'm starting to lock stuff in with the gym. So
things are turning around today. Things are turning around.
We got to talk about one last thing. First of all, Butthole Jenkins is now coming around to JSU. So that's a huge win in itself. I'm taking that as a massive W. But our guy Adam G in this chat, did you guys see this? He said T equals MJ, Tambo equals Kobe, and I'm equal to LeBron. Oh, no.
I want to be LeBron anyways. Let me be LeBron.
Yeah, Tony equals LeBron. I equal Kobe or MJ. I'll take Kobe, but Tambo can have MJ.
I want to be Jokic. Can I be Jokic?
Oh. I want to be the third of them, but like one of the dogs. So like, give me Kobe. I want Kobe. Tambo, you can have MJ because you're fucking the man. And Tony is definitely LeBron.
Oh man, I like these
rankings. I like Adam. That's why Tony's LeBron. He's literally good at everything. He plays DFS and he wins at every single sport. Don't be trying to be nice now. No, I am nice. He's good at everything. You are LeBron.
Can I end this show? I got the best outro we can ever do.
Go for it.
Okay. You can I interrupt your outro like I do on the golf?
If you want to continue the bad mojo and mess it all up, that's okay.
Go for it. Get it.
I was gonna say JSU flipped my Adam ranking to Mike. If you want to be like Mike, you can. That's the saying. But if you want to be like Adam, who just signed up for RPS, the man, and already won $11,000 with RPS. If you want to be like Adam, forget Mike. Sign up for runpuresports.com. Get over there now. Hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe for Big T, for JSU, for Simon behind the scenes. I'm Toe Tag and Tambo. Get us out of here, Simon.